Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to a moment that may quietly change the way you see yourself and your life. This is not just another motivational story. This is a reminder. A reminder that the limits you feel today are not facts. They are thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. Stay with this story until the end, not because it is dramatic, but because it is honest. As you listen, you will improve your English, but more importantly, you may begin to improve your focus, your mindset, and your belief in what is possible. Take a deep breath. Let the noise slow down. We begin now. Nothing is impossible until the mind decides it is. Most people live inside invisible boundaries they never chose consciously. These boundaries are built slowly through fear, comparison, and repeated doubt. Over time, the mind accepts these limits as truth. When that happens, effort decreases and curiosity fades. Dreams begin to feel unrealistic instead of exciting. But the world has never been limited by thoughts alone. Every breakthrough began when someone questioned what was believed to be impossible. The same rule applies to personal growth. Change begins the moment belief shifts. The greatest obstacle in life is not failure. It is distraction. Attention is constantly pulled toward opinions, expectations, and endless noise. When focus is divided, progress becomes weak. A mind that belongs to everyone else cannot build a strong future. Many people spend years reacting instead of creating. They explain themselves, defend their choices, and seek approval. This scattered attention slowly drains energy. When focus is finally brought inward, clarity begins to form. With clarity comes direction. With direction comes strength. Silence plays a powerful role in growth. In silence, the mind can rest and reorganize. Constant talking often hides insecurity rather than confidence. When words are reduced, awareness increases. Observing more and reacting less creates emotional balance. Silence allows ideas to develop fully instead of being exposed too early. Progress grows faster when it is protected. Quiet effort builds a foundation that noise never can. In this quiet space, the impossible starts to feel less distant. Negativity does not disappear, but it does not need control. Opinions exist everywhere, but not all deserve attention. Every emotional reaction consumes energy that could be used for growth. When attention is given to criticism, it multiplies. When ignored, it weakens. Strength is not shown through constant defense. Strength is shown through calm focus. Choosing not to react is not weakness. It is wisdom. Protecting the mind is an essential step toward believing that more is possible. Discipline is often misunderstood. It is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. Discipline means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It is waking up when motivation is low and continuing anyway. Success is rarely dramatic. It is built through repetition. Consistent effort compounds quietly over time. Each small action sends a signal to the mind that progress matters. When discipline becomes a habit, confidence grows naturally. What once felt impossible slowly becomes routine. Consistency creates momentum. Missing one day does not destroy progress, but quitting does. Growth is not about intensity. It is about returning again and again. Small daily actions shape identity. Over time, these actions become automatic. The mind begins to trust itself again. That trust creates courage. Courage creates action. Action changes outcomes. This cycle is how belief is rebuilt. Nothing becomes impossible when consistency replaces doubt. Habits are the structure behind freedom. Without habits, life feels chaotic and overwhelming. With habits, the mind feels safe and focused. Simple routines reduce decision fatigue and increase clarity. Reading a few minutes daily, reflecting quietly, and reducing distractions can shift an entire year. These actions seem small, but their impact is massive. Habits do not demand motivation. They operate quietly in the background. This is how progress continues even on difficult days. Solitude is often misunderstood as loneliness. In truth, solitude is where self-connection happens. When external noise fades, inner understanding grows. Solitude allows emotions to settle and thoughts to become clear. It provides space for reflection without pressure. Growth requires moments of stillness. Without them, the mind remains reactive. Time alone strengthens emotional control and sharpens focus. In solitude, self-belief begins to rebuild. From that belief, new possibilities appear. The world constantly promotes urgency, but growth requires patience. Rushing creates anxiety. Patience builds strength. Results often arrive long after effort begins. This delay causes many people to quit. They mistake silence for failure. But progress is often invisible before it is visible. Roots grow underground before anything appears above the surface. The same is true for mental and emotional growth. Trusting this process is essential. Nothing truly meaningful happens instantly. Focus is a limited resource. When it is wasted on comparison, progress slows. Looking sideways steals energy from forward movement. Everyone moves at a different pace. Comparing journeys creates frustration. Focusing on personal improvement creates peace. The only meaningful competition is with yesterday's effort. Improvement does not require perfection. It requires attention. When attention is used wisely, belief strengthens. With belief, the impossible begins to feel achievable. Language shapes reality. The words repeated internally shape behavior. Saying, "I can't," closes doors. Saying, "I will try," opens them. The mind follows language closely. Changing internal dialogue changes emotional response. Positive language does not deny difficulty. It acknowledges it while continuing forward. Over time, this shift creates resilience. Resilience is not loud, it is steady. It allows progress even when conditions are not ideal. Emotional control is a powerful skill. Reacting to everything weakens focus. Choosing responses carefully strengthens it. Not every thought deserves action. Not every emotion deserves expression. Learning when to pause is essential. This pause creates space for better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Emotional discipline supports mental clarity. With clarity, challenges become manageable. With control, obstacles feel smaller. The impossible loses its power. Confidence is not something found. It is something built. It grows through promises kept to oneself. Each completed task adds a layer of trust. Broken promises weaken confidence. Simple commitments strengthen it. Confidence is quiet certainty, not loud display. It does not seek approval. It does not fear judgment. When confidence grows, fear loses influence. With less fear, action becomes easier. What once felt impossible becomes part of daily effort. Focus improves learning. When the mind is calm, understanding increases. This is true for language learning and life learning. Listening deeply improves comprehension. Repetition strengthens memory. Progress becomes steady instead of stressful. Learning without pressure creates enjoyment. Enjoyment increases consistency. Consistency leads to mastery. Mastery begins with belief. Belief grows when effort is respected. Nothing is impossible when learning becomes intentional. Progress requires letting go. Letting go of old habits, old fears, and old identities. Growth demands space. Holding on to the past limits the future. Change feels uncomfortable because it challenges familiarity. But comfort does not create expansion. Discomfort signals movement. Accepting this truth changes perspective. Challenges become opportunities. Struggle becomes training. With this mindset, obstacles lose emotional weight. The impossible feels less intimidating. Energy follows attention. When attention is scattered, energy is weak. When attention is focused, energy becomes powerful. Protecting energy means choosing rest, silence, and intention. It means saying no when necessary. Boundaries protect growth. Without boundaries, focus dissolves. Respecting personal limits builds strength. This strength supports long-term effort. With sustained energy, belief grows. With belief, possibilities expand. Growth is not linear. Some days feel slow, some days feel heavy. This does not mean failure. It means adjustment. Learning to continue without emotional drama is key. Progress does not need to feel exciting. It needs to feel consistent. Quiet effort outperforms dramatic motivation. When this is understood, pressure disappears. With less pressure, focus improves. With better focus, progress accelerates naturally. Nothing is impossible when attention is controlled, discipline is practiced, and belief is protected. Limits dissolve when focus turns inward. Growth becomes steady when habits are consistent. Silence strengthens clarity. Patience builds resilience. Each small effort matters. Each quiet decision counts. Progress does not need approval. It only needs continuation. Over time, what once felt unreachable becomes familiar. As this story comes to an end, remember this truth. You are not limited by circumstances. You are shaped by focus. You are not defined by doubt. You are defined by action. Nothing changes overnight, but everything changes eventually when effort continues. Nothing is impossible when belief is rebuilt one day at a time. Stay focused, stay patient, and keep going.